Hello and welcome to Weird Careers. I'm your host, Eric, but you can call me ET. All over the world, people have jobs, and some of those jobs we don't even know exist. There are jobs that we don't know a lot about, and there are jobs that we just don't talk about. Well, I'm here to explore all of the above on this podcast. I will be interviewing people from all over the world about their strange and interesting careers. Everything from cosplay to sex work. Oh, did I mention this show is NSFW? Over the course of this season, we will talk to people in all sorts of fields of work and dive deep into their professions. Also, if you think that you have a weird career, let us know at eric@cardinalimages.ca. This show is brought to you in part by Cardinal Images. Get your business looking amazing at a great price. Check out their website at www.cardinalimages.ca for their gallery and quotes. On today's show, we have Ariel Marie from Florida. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks so much for coming on the show today. And now, before we reveal what you do for a living, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. So my name is Ariel Marie, and I'm 28 years old. I'm from Florida, and I make content work and whatnot. So.
Right on. Now, ladies and gentlemen, and those who have yet to decide, as a quote from Rocky Horror, not to offend anybody. So content that we are making is sex content. So Ariel here is a sex worker content creator, and this is something that I've always been curious about. It's a profession that's not often talked about. It's a profession that's not often recognized by a lot of people too, which is absolutely frustrating, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But first and foremost, tell us how you got into this.
I have been into this for about 8 years. I first got into it just randomly on Instagram, actually. And I started with just taking my own pictures and whatnot as like a modeling kind of status there. And then I posted them to Instagram. I started on that app, and I had noticed basically with all of the pictures that I had been posting, they got a lot of likes. But regardless of that, I would do different theme photos. I would dress up in them. Some of them were a little showy, but most of them were just like me being myself, honestly.
Nice.
So I built up on my first Instagram, and I rocked with that for about 4 years. Okay. When I first started that 4 years, I was not looking to necessarily build my name up or, do anything kind of like that or create any type of like content for other people. So, I had, had some things in my life, couldn't do it at the time and whatnot. So I stopped for a little while. Then, as time went on, another 4 years later, this has basically been recently now that I've been trying to now build up my name, create content for, people in general, and, just build up my own brand.
Nice. Right on. So like your own brand. So when you say your own brand, like what do you mean by that?
I don't necessarily have like my own brand or anything. I like to say it, but I just kind of think of it as like, my own build up, my name, and the names that I advertise under and whatnot. So
right on. Awesome.
Just for myself.
So when you say the content creation, so you do that, you do content creation on multiple different platforms.
Yes.
What is this content exactly that you're creating? Like, give us some kind of examples.
I create different technique content. I do nude, and I also do cosplay content as well. Um, so I generally try to stick with both of those two themes, I guess you could say,
Nice.
and I go based off those.
Right on. So, off the board question here. Where did you decide to go from posting some photos on Instagram to then starting up these accounts, and then saying, "Hey, you know what? I want to do some nude stuff." Like, what was the thought process between all that?
Um, so when I had first started on Instagram, it was basically just, okay, I look really cute. I feel pretty about myself. I'm going to post some pictures, and, I'm not really going to think anything of it. And then as, time went on, less than a year later, I was like, okay, well, I seem to be looking pretty nice on Instagram. Why don't I just, kind of rock with this sexual feeling for myself and continue doing that? So I did. Um, but I would say when I first started, I had the mindset of becoming a porn star, actually. And with
Oh,
that,
interesting.
yes. So I told myself, you know what, I can be my own porn star. So that's probably what did it for me.
Nice.
And yeah. So
There you go. I mean, to be your own boss, I guess you can be your own boss in any industry these days, eh?
yeah, I would think so. I would hope people would want to do more of that, actually, being
Well,
their own boss.
and for something like this, it's definitely safer. It's definitely safer to do something like this than to do it like on the streets.
Hmm.
So I mean that's and you're protected in so many different ways. Anonymity, you've got so much security on the internet
And
with
eh,
sorry, go ahead.
that's also what I mean by building up your own brand. I think that every content creator out there, that's exactly what they're doing. So, that's why I kind of say build up your own brand, because you own that. You own, everything that you're putting out there for yourself, like you own your name and all that and whatnot. So I would say that's the definite example as to, you know, why I would say that.
Perfect. So where did you get your stage name from? Like where did that stem from?
It's very personal for me, and I like that. I honestly got mine from the love of my life, which is the Little Mermaid, Ariel, Princess Ariel. Little Disney fan over here, but
Very nice. Disney's the best. I mean, what you can't have life without Disney, right?
exactly. And I'm a mermaid myself. That's what I go by. I love it. I love everything about the ocean and all that. But I decided to use a very personal name for myself that I would know, that I would love, and other people would probably enjoy it as well.
Awesome. So you don't your stage name is all that's really advertised. Everything else, everything about you and your personal life, that is completely separate from what you do online.
Yes.
Awesome. Can that be difficult?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I think that happens that way for multiple people. But for the most part, time. I try to make time for my work life. I feel like it's all the time. But I also try to make time for my personal life. I keep them both separate, but I keep an eye on the both of them. And with doing that, I try my best to not have anything get in the way of normal living and whatnot. And I think for the most part, I handle it very well.
Well, I'm glad that you're able to keep your work life and personal life separate. That in some industries and some workplaces that can be really hard. I'm glad that you're able to do that really well.
Yeah, it helps to just keep busy with both of them, to be honest. Of course, you can't help what comes up in life and whatnot, but no, I try to stay on top of it. I try to work as often as I can. The only feeling that I think multiple people would probably have, you're tired all the time, but
Oh,
all the
geez, I
work
can
and
only
effort.
imagine how tired you would be all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, what are the benefits of working in the sex industry?
For me, the biggest benefit that I have is all of the people, countless of people that I get to talk to, or I get to meet, or that I get to create with. Um, I get to talk to people on a daily basis, and I mean, I pretty from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep, I'm talking to someone. Um, so that is a big plus for me because I'm a very big people person. Um, that's one of my biggest benefits, honestly.
Awesome. It's always good that you're loving is and that's the number one thing you love about your job is just being able to interact with people, meet new people, and it's definitely a really good way to meet people, I would say.
Yeah, I like that, and I also like that I can be myself. It's freeing. It's sexual empowerment, but I get to have all those feelings in one, and have that every day for myself with doing the type of work that I do.
That's awesome. So, with that being said, what are some of the downfalls or hardships that you get in your job?
Along with all the people that I do talk to, um, most of my experiences are pretty positive. Um, I don't have too many negative experiences, besides sometimes not having time to put out there to do to make every single person happy. I guess you could say um, that would have to be like the main one. Um, but other than that, I I don't want to get too I don't want to get too involved in that question.
No, I completely understand that. Um, Now you're telling me a couple of different ways that your content is advertised. So where is your content? Tell me where your content is shown, and are there different ways, for lack of a better term, to sell?
Yes. So my first initial way to get to my content and have that is to go on my OnlyFans. I advertise on there. I use their services and whatnot. I have my Instagram, but I do not sell anything over Instagram. The only thing that I do is post my pictures and whatnot. So you can see content previews and whatnot on that. Um, I use Twitter as well. I post content previews and just lewds and whatnot.
Yeah, right on.
And then I also do Snapchat Premium, which seems to be very, very popular these days.
Now,
um,
what is Snapchat Premium? I know a lot of people have heard this term before, but I can only imagine that there's a lot of people that have not heard this term before.
right. So when I first started, I had not really heard the term either. So I was just like, that makes no sense. But as I kept going and I had never made one for myself. So I was like, I don't even know what that is.
Hmm.
But eventually you learn over time and whatnot. Um, so my Snapchat Premium is basically my Snapchat that I have. Um, it's free. You can sign up for my free one. And then if you choose to sign up for my Snapchat Premium, it is the same account, but it is just a way to get to closer content with me, closer interactions, I guess.
Okay, right on. Do you have a preference between which platform you post on?
Honestly, I'd have to say Snapchat is like one of my best ones that I use because I just love posting, multiple videos and whatnot on it. But I do also enjoy using OnlyFans. Um, I offer a couple of different, you know, packages, if you want to call them, for people who want to pick between the two.
All right, so yeah, let's get into the nitty gritty. What are some of the weirder, for lack of a better word, kinks that you've seen or experienced in what you do?
Okay, so for some reason, this seems to be a big one for people. I've had multiple people offer to, like, just pee on me in general, or to have me,
Wow.
yeah, or to have me pee for them or pee on them. And that is interesting because when I first heard of it, I was like, no, no
Yeah, that's
thanks.
not one I get. I never understood that one myself personally.
Yeah. So that one was probably the weirdest one for me. Um, the second weirdest one, and I'm still trying to gather how I feel about this one, but um, getting into like the baby kind of role and whatnot. So
Okay.
yeah, so like the whole baby mode of bottles, pacifiers, onesies, that whole thing.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
That. So I have looked into it. I haven't had any, offers or anything like that, but I have looked into possibly making some type of like content um, similar to that. But
Okay.
I'm still exploring that. But the two kind of kinks that have been a little weird for me is definitely like the peeing and like the
Yeah.
the babiness and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure. Do you under now that you've kind of done a little bit more, do you have any understanding as why the peen thing is a thing?
Myself personally, no, I don't understand why people like that, but I have done it to make other people happy and to
Hmm.
make my income off of it, obviously. Um, but I don't know. I've tried it a couple of times now, and I can say that no, I would not like pee on someone, but I would pee for someone, and I would record it
Yeah.
and use it. So with doing it as many times as I've done in this past year alone, that doesn't bother me. But being peed on, I'm like, no, six
I think there's
feet.
a sanitary thing there. I mean,
Yeah, it's different when you're doing
we
it.
sanitize our hands when we touch a doorknob now. I mean, what the hell are you gonna do if someone pees on you? I mean, if there's more than hand sanitizer that you're gonna have to use there, I'd go straight for the peroxide.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got to be something more than that. But there's definitely a huge ass difference between peeing for someone and then having somebody do that to you. But hey, I mean, if you like that, then kudos. Not for me.
So like, so then would there be anything that you would do for or there wouldn't that you wouldn't do for a client? Like, for example, like you don't like swallowing, but you would do it because a customer pays you to.
Right, right. So I would generally try to keep all the respect for me as much as I can. I am a pretty open person, open book. So I feel like
Hmm.
even if I was concerned about doing something like that for somebody, I feel like I would still think about it and I'd probably go through and actually do it, unless it was something like, horribly
Okay.
bad or anything. But if it makes my, peoples, I'll call them, if it makes them happy, then more than likely I'd probably do it.
Well, that's pretty interesting. I mean, there's so many different kinks out there. I can only imagine the amount and variety of requests that you would get.
Yeah. And with what also helps is like for as long as you keep going, the years rack up and everything. At least for me, it did. And with all those years that passed, that experience basically just built and built, and then you get to a point to where you've either seen everything or you've done everything, but there might
Yeah.
still be a few stuff that you haven't, but
Hmm.
you've done it almost all, and you're so open at that point that you'd be willing to try something, you know new, or you'd be willing to just do it for someone because they'd like it, but like I said, you
Yeah.
also get your money from it and whatnot.
Well, for sure. That's a pretty good way to look at it instead of kind of completely closing off to it. You're saying, this might be something I might enjoy. And I have never tried it before, but you know what? I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, and there's like all sorts of kinks and whatnot out there. So I'd rather be open to, if I got like a request from someone, with anything, I'd be pretty open to doing it and looking into it and exploring it to find out if I absolutely 100% love it, or even if I don't like it.
That's awesome. So, like any job, you would be doing, there would be research that would go into that.
Yes.
Awesome. Now you mentioned to me before that that you're engaged, and you're in a polyamorous relationship.
Yes.
Now, how does that part of your life mesh with your work life? Or does it?
Yes, it actually does. I keep them both very open with each other. I like it that way. Everything is so fresh and so open all the time, between the two, that it leaves no room necessarily for, issues or complications or anything like that. I love it. It's really, really good. It's really, really positive. So I approach it like that. I take both and I mesh them as much as they're going to mesh together, and even more.
Well, it's definitely an easy thing. Well, in theory, to mesh together, just based on what they are.
I can get into more details if you want.
You are more than welcome to.
Okay.
So, like for example, like do you create content with your fiance? Do you create content with other couples or other partners? And actually, before I even get into that, for those who have never heard the term polygamy or polyamorous, could you explain that to our listeners as well?
Yes. I feel like everybody has their own views or definitions on that, so I don't want
Sure.
to get down to the whole detail of that or what it could be. But for me, I love everyone, and when I say that, I mean I have love for everyone. So I feel as if I'm going to be in a relationship, or if I'm going to be engaged to someone, um, that has to be a part of it. So
Of course, yeah.
I I initially came into it with, okay, this is who I am, this is what I want. Who are you and what do you want? Kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
after a little time of exploring that whole thing with my partner and whatnot, we both came to the conclusion that we we wanted that for ourselves. And
Awesome.
yeah, we want to love each other and be in love with each other, like we are, the way we are, but we
Mm-hmm.
also want to share our love with other people. So
Okay.
yeah, so for us, that's what it is for us.
Oh, I really like that. That's a really good way to put it. And I put it in a perspective where people don't sexualize it, because it's not all about the sexuality. It's all about it's also it's also feeling. It's also
Yeah.
you said love. It's connection. It's not just sex.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like any person or persons, I don't want to say they should, 100% identify like that, but, just different perspectives and whatnot.
For sure. So tell me then, how does that aspect of your life mesh with work?
Right. So me and my partner, we do sometimes he'll participate in content.
Nice.
Yes. So he does like to participate and be involved, but he doesn't.
Nice.
Yeah, he doesn't have any like, social work of his own or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Some people want.
It's like Ariel Marie featuring Beyonce essentially.
Right. So, I mean, I don't necessarily say that when, like, for my viewers and whatnot. I just put
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah. I just put it as like, boy and girl content or something like that, or some
Oh,
type of
okay.
some type of like theme name of like what it could be or something. But
Ah, okay.
yeah, but yeah, I'll just get right into it with all the details
Sure,
that I
yeah,
have.
please.
Um, so yes, sometimes he does participate in my videos that I have for content purposes for OnlyFans and or for any advertising that I do for any of my like other platforms that I use. But um, I am just now getting into creating content with males and females. So it's
Interesting.
yes, it is very interesting.
I'm sure your subscribers will absolutely love that.
I I have had multiple requests for males, and it has been so overwhelming because they just keep coming, and I'm just like, okay, calm down. I have to keep up with the first. So I am definitely taking applications, but I am going through them one by one to exactly know, okay, who is this? How are we doing this?
Of
What's their
course.
purpose and all that and whatnot. So right now, I'm basically, I don't want to say I'm doing interviews with people, but I mean,
Hmm.
I am getting social with people and I am finding out what type of content they create or if they create any
Hmm.
at all. And if they want to be a part of my mix or me and my partner's mix. And
Nice.
if they do, I use that to our advantage with OnlyFans or Snapchat Premium, but mostly OnlyFans.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Right on. So would this then be your main source of income, or do you have a part-time job on the side?
I did have a part-time job before I was really, really getting into OnlyFans and whatnot. Um,
Okay.
Due to COVID, that kind of just left.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I had to think of something, and OnlyFans came around, and I was like, well, shit, let's see what this is about.
Oh,
So
for sure.
I approached OnlyFans, and then I started OnlyFans. What's crazy is I started OnlyFans basically um, mid March around there, um,
Okay.
and now it is my source of income for myself.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome that you can make something like something like this your source of income. I can't imagine it being the easiest um, profession to get to create a steady income.
Yeah. So exactly. It takes time to build up the income, of course, and that is all I've been doing since I started, building and building and building and putting time and effort as much as I can into my
Mm.
OnlyFans to increase my profit and whatnot, and just be able to live in general. It's not the only income that I
Nice.
do go off by because me and my
Yeah.
partner, we're set. We have everything that we need and whatnot.
Nice.
um
That's good.
yeah, but OnlyFans is kind of like extra money for me, and
Nice. That's awesome.
yeah.
Right on. So like what way so would that would be like a full-time job, part-time job, and would that what kind of a paycheck, so to say, would that look like?
um I feel like it's
If you
part-time.
don't mind my asking, of
Right,
course.
right, yeah. I feel like my time and effort, it's 100% full-time for me, but
Oh, of course, yeah.
yeah, but the initial like kind of average paycheck of what I would like bring in is sometimes a little less than 300 a month.
Right on.
Yeah. So
That's not bad at all.
no, no. I mean, it's not. If you have the time, you're at home, you're not doing anything. You want to explore that? Jump right on OnlyFans. I mean,
Is that something that you can over time create more income for yourself?
yes, and that's probably my main motivation for the OnlyFans itself is because Everyone has to start somewhere. So you start and then you just build and build. And like what I'm trying to do for myself is, get my name out there, make sure people know who I am, what I represent, what my services
Yeah.
are and everything. But OnlyFans has a major step into that because you get to see my content. But I mean, regardless of that, um, it builds, and that's what I plan on doing for it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now you said earlier, if you're bored at home, which since COVID started, there's a lot of people that are bored at home. Do you have any tips for anyone looking to get into the industry, male or female?
Right. Yeah, I have tips for both. If you have any curiosity about it at all, that's a great start. Keep that curiosity, keep your mind open to multiple things that could happen for yourself. Think outside the box with
Mm-hmm.
it. Take a chance and a risk, in a healthy way, of course. But
Oh, yes.
if you're thinking about something, you should probably do it. More than likely, it's a positive thing to do. So I would just go ahead and take that risk and do something, especially if you haven't done it before. Everyone's different. I like trying new things all the time. So that was probably my biggest motivator there, like biggest pusher. But get in contact with, if you know any people, like if you know a person that, like, friends that do it or whatever, get in contact with them and ask them about it, ask questions, get curious. And you know um there's a whole bunch of things that you can do to basically help yourself with it. I've had multiple people get in contact with me, male and female, and just say, hey, how did you do this, or how do you go about it? I mean, do you have to do
Nice.
this, do you have to do that? How should I do my advertising and whatnot? And I get right into it with them.
So, like, what would walk us through an average day then?
So an average day for me, I wake up and I'm immediately on my phone. Immediately, I check all my
Yeah.
notifications. I check my OnlyFans, and I see where I'm at with that. But I immediately get in contact with all of my subscribers and or premium Snapchat members.
Mm-hmm.
They are my first priority. They come first, and my OnlyFans subscribers know that, and my premiums know that. Um, so after I get in contact with everybody, say my good mornings, all that, um, pretty much I am off for the day doing my own thing. For the most part, while I'm balancing everyday life, I'm also balancing, um, talking to fans, talking to subs, talking to, friends in general. So I keep open communication, open all the time. And um, I pretty much do my own thing because we all can do our own things. and and basically, no matter where I'm at, what I'm doing, I could be at home and I could be talking to people, or I could just be, out and about going shopping or something, but I'd still be talking to people. So I get up, I do all that. I talk to people all day. I cook, I clean, I do what I can at home. I balance my other life, of course. And um, I pretty much talk to as many people as I can before, I go to sleep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk.
Yeah, I know it sounds, a little kind of cliche and whatnot, but for me, it's super important to kind of stay in contact with as much people as I can,
Of course.
just so that they know that I have their value in mind. Just I want them to know that I matter, they matter, and you know,
That's awesome. That's very nice of you. That's very, very nice of you. So lastly, before we go here today, now if there was anything you could change about your profession, what would it be and why?
um, I don't want to say necessarily change. I am hoping that in the near future it does get way more acceptable with the world in general and whatnot. Um, I don't know if that will change, but I wouldn't change anything about like what I do or anything like that. I would just hope that,
That's awesome.
yeah, I would just hope that
That's
it
awesome.
changes for the near future for males and females, and you know, we we still get to have our empowerment with doing the things that we want to do, um, selling our content, being sexual, um, just those things in general.
That's awesome. I'm glad that there's nothing that you would change. It just really shows that you love your job. I love it. Love it.
I put a lot of time, effort. There's a whole lot of me in it, and that's how I want it. That's how you, I would say to anyone, that's how you should do it. You're already taking risks with doing what you are doing. Yes,
Mhm.
but the difference is, do you want to take that risk and do it, or do you not really want to do that? And if you find yourself saying, I don't think I can do that. I don't really want to get into it, then you probably shouldn't
Yeah.
be doing it.
Well, there you go. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed talking with you and getting to know you more and everything in between.
Awesome. And just so everybody listening knows, in the comment section or the description section of the podcast, I will have Ariel Marie's all of her links. So her Snapchat, her OnlyFans, her Instagram, her Twitter, and if there's anything else, I will make sure to post it there for you. So again, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you.
That was Ariel Marie joining us via Zoom. This podcast is brought to you in part by Zoom. In this together, keeping you securely connected wherever you are. Thank you for joining us today here on Weird Careers with myself and Ariel Marie. Next time on the podcast, we will have Reese Brunel, who is a video producer. And remember, if you know anybody who has a weird career, let us know by emailing us at eric@cardinalimages.ca. Thanks again for joining us today, and don't forget to like and subscribe and visit those links in the podcast description. Again, from the depths of my heart, thank you for joining us today here on Weird Careers. Have yourself a great day, and join us next time.